My natal chart. The Sun in Pisces in the 11th house tells us the core identity is bound to universal compassion, idealism, and a connection to the collective unconscious. This is the spiritual seeker, the artist, the friend to all. Its conjunction with Venus and Uranus in the same house amplifies this dramatically. There is a need for friendships, Venus, that are unconventional, electrifying, and spiritually symbiotic, Uranus. This individual may find their identity through collective movements, avant-garde artistic circles, or sudden revelations within a group context. Opposing this is a full moon in Libra in the 6th house. The emotional body, the instinctual self, is not in the dreamy waters of Pisces, but in the airy halls of Libra, concerned with balance, partnership, and daily routine. The 6th house placement is critical. This suggests a deep emotional need for order, health, and useful service. The full moon polarity creates a lifelong pull between the sun's desire to merge with the collective, the 11th, and the moon's need for a balanced, orderly personal life and a significant other, Libra, in the 6th. They may feel emotionally drained by the chaos of their ideals or find their daily work jarringly mundane against their spiritual aspirations. The personal planets, communication and drive. Mercury in the sign of Pisces in the 11th house indicates a mind that thinks in images, symbols, and intuitive leaps rather than linear logic. Communication is empathetic, poetic, and highly influenced by the group atmosphere. Its trine to Saturn in Cancer in the 3rd house provides a crucial anchor. Saturn here gives a thoughtful, careful structure to the nebulous Piscean thoughts. There may be a strong memory for emotional histories, Cancer in the 3rd, and communication, while compassionate, will have a responsible, protective quality. However, the square to Pluto in Sagittarius in the 8th house reveals a deep-seated intensity. Mental crises may occur, power struggles and communication are possible, and there is a compulsive need to uncover hidden philosophical truths that can shatter their delicate perceptions. Mars in Capricorn in the 9th house is a powerful placement. This is the drive for tangible achievement, Capricorn, in the realms of philosophy, law, higher education, or travel. 9th, it is ambitious, disciplined, and respects tradition, yet it is besieged by tension. The opposition to Saturn in Cancer creates a profound internal conflict between ambitious action, Mars, and emotional, familial responsibility, Saturn. Authority figures may feel like obstacles. The square to Jupiter and Libra in the 6th further complicates matters, suggesting a tendency to overextend in daily work, leading to burnout, all in the pursuit of their philosophical or legal ideals. Outer planets and the generational landscape. So here we see the Piscean theme reinforced generationally. Uranus and Neptune conjoined in the 10th, 11th houses, Neptune in Aquarius in the 10th, Uranus with the Sun, Venus and Pisces in the 11th. This indicates a career, 10th, that may involve the dissolution of old structures, Neptune, through technology or humanitarian reform, Aquarius. Their public reputation is tied to idealism, perhaps even glamour or illusion. The Pluto in Sagittarius and the 8th generation is tasked with ruthlessly tearing down dogmatic belief systems, and this native will experience this transformation intensely in the realms of shared resources, psychology, and mortality. The nodal axis and the karmic trajectory. The South Node Ketu in Libra in the 6th house suggests a past life overinvestment in service, partnership, and the minutiae of daily health and work. There is a deeply ingrained habit of finding identity through others. The North Node, Rahu, and Aries in the 12th house points the way forward. The soul's evolution requires a courageous Aries turn inward towards spiritual solitude, 12th. They must learn to act for the self, not just for the other, and to find their strength not in balanced routine, but in the dissolution of the ego through private spiritual confrontation. The synthesis, a life intention. So what manner of life does this portend? This is an individual who appears solid and reliable, Taurus ascendant, but is inwardly a visionary, Pisces stellium. Their career, Capricorn 10th, may be in a field that grounds their ideals, perhaps ecological art, Taurus Pisces, humanitarian law, Libra 6th, Mars in 9th, or a healing practice that blends technology and spirit, Neptune Aquarius 10th. Their greatest challenges will be the Saturn-Mars opposition, feeling torn between worldly ambition and private familial duties, and the Moon-Mars square, where their need for peaceful routine is constantly agitated by a driven, restless intellect. Their healing, as indicated by Chiron in Aquarius in the 10th, will come through embracing their unique, perhaps eccentric, genius in their public life, wounding and healing through their unconventional contribution to society. In conclusion, this chart does not describe a simple life. It describes a rich, turbulent, and profoundly creative one. The native is a bridge tasked with building a tangible reality from the substance of their dreams and finding spiritual freedom not through escape, but through courageous, disciplined action in the world. They are, in essence, an alchemist, turning the water of Pisces into the earth of Taurus. Further discussion. How might the square from the ascendant to Venus and Uranus manifest as a tension between the native's need for stable, traditional relationships and their attraction to the unconventional? The square from the Taurus ascendant to Venus and Uranus conjoined in Pisces in the 11th house creates a fundamental and persistent tension in the native's life, most acutely felt in their approach to relationships and social values. It is a friction between the soul's craving for earthy, predictable security and its equally powerful attraction to transcendent, unpredictable freedom. This manifests through several key dynamics. The aesthetic and social persona versus the inner circle. The Taurus ascendant presents a persona that values classic beauty, sensory comfort, and traditional expressions of affection. This is the part of the native that may seek a partner who is reliable, grounded, and appreciates the finer things in a conventional sense, a stable home, tangible displays of commitment. However, Venus, the ruler of this very ascendant, is not in Taurus, but in ethereal Pisces, conjoined with radical Uranus in the 11th house of groups and future visions. This means the native's core values, Venus, are actually rooted in the unconventional, the spiritual, the collective, and the bizarre. They are profoundly attracted to people who are eccentric, artistically gifted, emotionally translucent, or who represent a break from tradition. Uranus. Their closest friends and lovers will likely be drawn from avant-garde circles, spiritual communities, or will be individuals who defy easy categorization. The tension arises when these two worlds collide. The native may find themselves bringing a partner who is a perfect expression of their 11th house Venus Uranus, a poetic, nonconformist, perhaps unstable visionary, into a social setting where their Taurus ascendant expects to project an image of simple, traditional stability. This creates internal shame and social awkwardness. They feel a pull to tame their partner for public consumption, or conversely, feel their conventional appearance is a betrayal of their true, unconventional values. 2. The pattern of stable unpredictability in relationships. The conjunction of Venus and Uranus is notorious for creating a love-hate relationship with routine. There is a deep desire for a transcendent, soul-merging Pisces connection that feels fated and electric, Uranus. The moment a relationship begins to feel too predictable, too domesticated in the Taurus sense, the Uranian energy rebels. They may initiate sudden breaks, be attracted to people who are inherently unavailable or unpredictable, or introduce shocking changes into an otherwise stable partnership to recapture the electric charge. The Taurus ascendant, however, is deeply rattled by this. After each Uranian disruption, it will crave a return to safety and simplicity. This can create a cyclical pattern. The native builds a seemingly stable traditional relationship, satisfying the ascendant, grows restless and shatters it, Venus, Uranus, then feels unmoored and desperately seeks another stable harbor, only for the cycle to repeat. They are, in essence, trying to build a permanent terrain structure on the shifting sands of a Piscean Uranian foundation. The resolution. The resolution of this square is not found by choosing one side over the other, but through integration. The native must learn to express their terrain nature in unconventional ways, like creating a stable home that serves as a salon for avant-garde artists, or finding a partner whose stability lies not in conventionality, but in their unwavering commitment to their own unique Uranian spirit. They must discover that true security, Taurus, can be found within the constant conscious renewal and freedom, Uranus, of a partnership, rather than in its rigid traditional form. The goal is to build a relationship that is both a safe harbor and a vessel for adventure, a paradox this native is uniquely equipped to navigate, albeit with significant growing pains. Potential life manifestations of the hypothetical natal chart. Even though this is not hypothetical, this is my natal chart. Following our previous dissection, a pertinent question arises. How might these potent, conflicting energies manifest as concrete events in the native's life? Let us theorize, remembering that the chart is a map of potential, not a fixed destiny. The will of the native and the transits that activate these points will determine the final expression. Early life and formative years, childhood to early 20s. Saturn in Cancer in the 3rd house and Black Moon Lilith in the 3rd house. The early educational environment is likely marked by a feeling of restriction, Saturn, and emotional sensitivity, Cancer, potentially involving siblings or the local community. There may be a stern traditional early schooling or a sense of being the little adult. The presence of Lilith here suggests a deep, perhaps unspoken rebellion against this structure, a feeling that their true voice, 3rd house, is being suppressed by familial or cultural expectations. This could manifest as clandestine reading, a secret intellectual life, or a profound sense of not fitting in with their immediate peers. Moon in Libra in the 6th, square Mars in Capricorn in the 9th. A persistent tension between the need for a peaceful, orderly daily routine, Moon in the 6th house, and a driven, ambitious restlessness, Mars in the 9th house. This may appear as conflict with authority figures, teachers, early bosses, who represent the Mars and Capricorn demand for discipline. Health issues, particularly related to stress, Libra Moon square Mars, could arise when this tension is not managed. They may take a very first job, 6th, that is practical, but feel a deep, restless urge to travel or pursue higher learning, 9th. The crucible of adulthood, mid-20s to 40s. The 11th house, Pisces stellium, Sun, Venus, Uranus, and relationships. The square from the ascendant will reach its peak expression here. We can theorize a series of relationships that are intensely idealistic, spiritually charged, Pisces, and ultimately destabilizing, Uranus. They may be drawn to creative, charismatic, but unpredictable partners, artists, musicians, spiritual seekers. A defining relationship may begin suddenly within a group or friend circle, 11th house, shocking their more conventional acquaintances, Taurus ascendant. The cycle of building stability and having it disrupted by a need for freedom will be a core theme. Mars in Capricorn in the 9th house, opposition Saturn and Cancer in the 3rd house. This critical opposition suggests a major life event centered on the conflict between career ambition and family home. A pivotal moment could be a job offer or academic opportunity, Mars in the 9th, in a distant city or country that directly conflicts with a family obligation or emotional need to stay close to home, Saturn in Cancer, 3rd or 4th. The resolution of this tension will be a defining fork in their road. Chiron and Aquarius in the 10th house. Their career path will be the site of their deepest wound and their greatest healing. They may feel like an outsider, Aquarius, in their chosen profession, or experience a painful rejection from a group or institution, Chiron, that damages their public reputation, 10th house. This very wound, however, will force them to embrace their unique, innovative genius, Aquarius, leading them to a career that is ultimately unconventional, humanitarian, or technologically visionary, supported by Neptune in Aquarius in the 10th house. Maturity and integration, 40s and onwards. The activation of the nodal axes, Rahu in Aries, 12th house, Ketu in Libra, 6th house. The first half of life is likely overly focused on the South Node in Libra and the 6th house, over-service to partners, an obsession with daily routine and health, and a loss of self in the details of work. A significant crisis, potentially around the midlife transits, will force a shift. This could be a health scare, a partnership dissolution, or a spiritual awakening that dismantles their old life. Pluto in the 8th house supporting this. This event will be the catalyst to embrace the North Node in Aries in the 12th house, to courageously turn inward, to pursue spiritual or psychological solitude, and to find their identity not through others, but through a direct personal connection to the transcendent. Pluto and Sagittarius in the 8th house. Throughout their life, they will experience periodic, profound psychological deaths and rebirths related to their core beliefs. Sagittarius. Inheritances or shared resources, 8th house, may come with intense power dynamics attached. Their ultimate transformation will be to move from a dogmatic or perhaps naively optimistic worldview to one that has been forged in the fires of crises, emerging with a profound, hard-won philosophical understanding. In summary, we can theorize a life that appears conventionally stable on the surface, Taurus ascendant, but is internally and experientially a journey of immense spiritual and emotional turbulence. Key event themes will include a pivotal relocation for education or career that severs early roots, a series of unconventional transformative relationships within artistic or humanitarian circles, a significant public professional wound that ultimately defines their unique contribution, in a major midlife crisis that shifts their focus from service to others to a courageous spiritual independence. The life in its entirety will be a grand alchemical experiment to build a lasting monument, Taurus Capricorn, out of the substance of dreams, Pisces.